Hi folks, this is Vicki from patternprincess.com. Today I'm going to show you how to do the stitches for the family throw blanket. And so far what I've done is a chain of 16. The throw blanket can be made wider or narrower by using multiples of 2 or having an even number of stitches to start with, the chain stitches. And of course it can be made longer or shorter by however many rows you work. So how we're going to do the first row after I have my 16 chains is in the second chain from the hook. So we don't count the one on the hook. So this is 1, 2. So then this one right here, we're just going to work a single crochet. And then we're going to work a single crochet all the way across. The reason I like to do this sometimes is I believe that the first row sometimes can get looking like it's pulled apart a little bit when you add a border on. So I kind of like to start oftentimes with this, at least something all the way across that first row, unless I'm looking for a pattern that's a really light and lacy one. So I'm just working my single crochet all the way across, and we've almost got row 1 done. And I'm using a chartreuse today in Caron Simply Soft, and I'm using a size H hook. And for the pattern, I did use a Caron Simply Soft and an H size hook. So row 1, we just have our single crochet all the way across. Okay, so now we're going to turn it, and then we're going to chain 1. So turn it, this is row 2 starting, chain 1. And then in this same space, so in this first space right here, I chain 1 just because it gives me enough leverage. That really doesn't count anything to get into this first stitch here. So in this first stitch, we're going to work a single crochet, and then we're going to yarn over. We're going to work a double crochet in the same stitch. Okay. Then we're going to skip the next stitch, and then in the next stitch, we're going to do the same single crochet and double crochet. Whoops. And I'm going through both loops too when I'm doing it. So single and double. Sometimes I don't catch all the layers when I'm working on this Caron Simply Soft, and I didn't. I thought I did that a little bit before. So I'm going to pull this here. Hang on. I just pulled out the double crochet. So you can see my little spot where I was pulling it there. I kind of thought I had maybe not got them all. There we go. And then we're going to skip 1 and work the single crochet and double crochet. We're going to do this all the way across. Here we go, and our double crochet. Skip 1, and then our single crochet and double crochet in the same stitch. And this pattern is a repeat of the next row, row 3. So it's very nice to do. It's one of those that you can make watching TV, and because there really isn't any counting to do. Once you get going on the row 3 and then past that, I really don't count at all. All I do is double check my rows to make sure I've done my single crochet and double crochet. When I'm about halfway done, you just kind of give it an eyeball to make sure it all looks similar, so that when you get to the next row, you're not pulling out a whole row in case you miss something. And then we're almost to the end, and you'll notice I have 2 stitches left. And then in that last stitch, so we're going to skip this one, in that last stitch here, we are going to work. Let me get through both loops. Hang on. I don't know why I get on film and I struggle. Like, it's where I never crocheted before. Here's my single crochet and then my double crochet, and I gotta get more yarn. Double crochet in that last stitch. I'm gonna show you how it looks. So this is row 2, and remember, this is a repeat, as I mentioned, of the third row. So here's row 2. Here's how it looks. See, if I had done that, see that you're starting to build that texture right here. If I had done that row 2 right away instead of that single crochet right away, when I go to add the border on, where you skip that stitch will pull sometimes, and it depends. If you add a heavy border, I just think it looks kind of funny. So I don't. This is one of the patterns where I just started with a simple single crochet on that first row. So now we're going to chain 1, and then in that first row, we're right here in that first, I should say that first stitch, we're going to do our single crochet and our double crochet. And now you're going to skip So we've done our first stitches here. Now you're going to skip that double crochet of the previous row, and then you're going to work into every one across here. You're going to just be working in the single crochet, and you can see where this is a taller stitch, and then right in here is where you're going to go. And we're going to just do their single crochet and our double crochet. Okay. And then skip that double crochet, go right into that single crochet, and work a single crochet and a double crochet. So it's really easy when you're just skipping along, and you can kind of just start to visually see it. So you really don't even have to count into where you skip a stitch. It just you just know that here's a loop you skip and you go to the next. And then you work your single crochet and your double crochet. And we repeat this all the way across. This is the row that we repeat. And here's my double crochet. And then single crochet. And then to make the edges align really nicely, okay, and I do in this single crochet from the previous row, remember we did that single crochet, double crochet in that last stitch? We're going to do the same thing, a single crochet and a double crochet, because I'm going to show you how nicely this starts to line up. So the edges look really nice and square. This edge looks square because you started off here, and this edge will look square. As soon as I go back this other way, it looks really nice and square, but that's it. That's really the whole pattern, is a single crochet and double crochet every other stitch when you're in this single crochet position. So I'm just going to repeat row 3, chain 1, doesn't count as anything. Single crochet into that first stitch and double crochet into that first stitch. And then skip over. And this is really a fast pattern. It's a lovely pattern to make. And I just, if you take a look at the blanket, it's just gorgeous. But this stitch could be used for anything. You can use this, there's probably a name for this stitch that I don't even know what it is. It was just a stitch pattern that I made up. It's just a very simple stitch pattern. And I like the look of it, and I ended up doing a whole blanket in it. And I had bought that teal yarn. It's actually called Pagoda, I think it is. But I bought that yarn, and I thought, oh, I'm going to make an Afghan out of that. And so it's been sitting there in my pile for about 6 months, and finally I tackled it, and I decided this was a stitch that I wanted to do with it, because I just wanted to show off the lovely color of the yarn and then just have a little bit of texture of that stitch. And here is row 4 completed. So let me turn it over. Here it is. And if you look, I'm going to rotate a little bit. You can see there's a little bit of texture created with the bumps. And so again, the edges are really nice. And then what I did for the edges is on the edges, I used a new skein, and then I did a double crochet all the way around. And then like the next row, I did it's almost like a modified arugula stitch, where you do a front and back post single crochet and then a double crochet around that. So just to give that edge border a little bit of texture. So I'm going to work this more up into a square here, and then I'm going to show how to do the border too, okay? Okay, I know I have a few more rows down here. And so for the border, when I did my blanket, I used a new skein of yarn, and I just joined it in one of the corners. But for the sample, I have the yarn attached yet. So I'm going to do a double crochet around. So I'm going to chain 3, which is going to count as a double crochet. And then in the next stitch, we're going to be working up a side, and you just kind of start to ease the stitches along. So I'm going to go in here, I'll yarn over and go in this spot here. You just kind of eyeball it is what I do, because I think, well, here would be like another stitch area. So it's kind of about 2 stitches for every row I should say. Here we go, it's 1. So we just do our double crochet row all the way along. And then when we get to the corner, we're going to do 3. So this whole first round is just the double crochets, and then a 3 double crochet in each corner stitch. And when we end in the corner that we started on, we will end up doing a slip stitch to the first, or I should say the top chain 3 of that corner. So almost to the first one here, and so I do 3 double crochet in here. There's one, and what that does, I always usually end up doing 3 stitches. It just, to me, it helps it lay and not curl on the corners. You certainly could do probably 1 extra stitch, but or do a combination maybe of stitches and chain stitches just to get that corner to lay flat. And then in the bottom and the top rows, you're just going to work a double crochet in each of the stitches. So it's pretty easy to do the top and bottom rows. It's just the sides sometimes that can be tricky. But most of the time, unless there's a pattern that you definitely have to have an odd or an even number of stitches, I like to just work on easing my stitches up the side. I kind of have them be spaced about the same amount of space as my top and bottom double crochets. And I'm going to show you that side in just a minute. And what I'll do is I'll do this next corner here, and then I'm going to show you, and then I'll finish round 1, and then I'll show you round 2. And if you've ever done a front post and a back post double crochet, then this next one here, it should come pretty naturally. So I'm going to do my 3 double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to just ease those stitches up the side like I did. So that's how that's looking so far. So I'm going to continue over here, and here I'll end with a slip stitch into the top chain of the first chain 3. And then I'll have round 1 will be done, okay? Okay, round 1 is done. I've done all my double crochets, and then I did a join with a slip stitch into the top chain of that first chain 3. So round 2 is a front alternation between a front and a back post. Sorry, I wiggled this. Single crochet. So I'm going to chain 1. I'm not turning my work. That's where it's a little bit different from the arugula stitch too. But I'm not turning my work. So this first one we'll do a front post single crochet. You can do either one. You can start with a back post or front post. So all you do is you insert your hook, and it's in front of this post, behind the post you're working on, and in front of the next one. Okay, yarn over, bring it through. So then you work like a normal single crochet, and yarn over, go through 2 loops. First one's done. Now we're going to do the back post, where we go behind the posts and in front of this one and behind the next, yarn over, bring it through, and yarn over, complete that single crochet. And we're going to continue to alternate on every single stitch. The only thing that's different is in every corner stitch that we've done from the previous row there, we're going to work just 3 single crochet. Otherwise, we're going to continue alternating between the front post and the back post single crochet. And I had to play around with my border quite a bit to figure out if I really wanted to do this as a single crochet on this round or a double crochet, and I decided that a single crochet looked better for the look I was going for, I'd say. Okay, and then so now we've come to our 3 double crochet from the previous row. And so remember, whenever you do the 3 double crochet, you're adding a stitch to each end, right? And so this is your middle one. So just keep that in mind, because when we do round 4, we'll have to figure out if it's a front row, if we start with a front row post or back post single crochet. So that's the only thing you need to think about there. But I'll show you what I do. Sometimes it's a hit and miss, and one doesn't work. Well, it's no harm. You can just go right back and figure it out. And I'm going to do 3 single crochet in that middle stitch. But yeah, if you start in that 4th row with a stitch and it's not the right one, well, it's okay. You just pull it out and go to the next. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start again. We're in the bottom one here. And I'm just going to continue to alternate all the way around and do my front post and back post single crochet. It's really pretty easy. The biggest thing is just trying to not hook things. If you notice, I have to take my time on it because it's easy to hook other little threads and hook other little rows. That's my tail from that crocheted over from the previous one. I probably should have weaved that in and cut it off so it wasn't in the way. but I didn't. Okay. So I'm just going to, work this all, see, I hooked it right there, all the way around. And what I'll do is I'll end with a slip stitch into that first single crochet. And then we will have round 2 completed. The whole blanket just has 4 rounds on it. Okay, and then this is my last. See, I had to double check. There's my 3 double crochet from that previous row, so I'm in the corner. There's 1, and then I have to work the 3 single crochet right here. You just got to really pull it apart sometimes and look what you have for stitches, so you know where to put your stitches. And then we'll just continue up that other side, alternating. And I'm going to just stop a moment. See how, I mean, even if I just left it like that, isn't that some nice texture? So I'm going to continue around, and I'm going to end with my slip stitch, and then we'll go to round 3, okay? Okay, our round 2 is done. I've done my slip stitch here. See how it has nice texture? Here's the back of my work. And so, and I kind of, I've kind of scrunched it up as I've been working on it, but it's very nice and square. So the round 3 is just the double crochet round. So it's chain 3. And then in every stitch around, we're going to work a double crochet. So every stitch around, I gotta look here to make sure I'm right. So it's just very simple. Working a double crochet in every stitch. And then in the corner single crochet space, that very corner one, you're going to work 3 double crochet, just like we did for round 1. And of course we did the 3 single crochet in round 2 in each corner stitch. I'm just going to do this first corner, then I'm going to lay it flat and show you how it's looking right now. I'm kind of moving along a little bit quicker, just because I think that at this point you probably know how to do that double crochet. Okay, and here we go. 2, 3, and then we're going to start on the side, the bottom side there, and just continue to do our double crochets. And you can see there's a little ridge of texture right in here, and then we have the longer double crochet. So I'm going to work around, and I'm going to join it with a slip stitch into this first stitch here, and I'll meet you back here. Okay, I have round 3 done. All my double crochets are done, and you can see my round of single crochet front post and back post. It looks really nice for some texture. And then I have my longer double crochet. I joined it with my slip stitch. So our round 4 is really going to be a repeat of round 2 with a single crochet front post and back post. However, I do it here. See how you have one sticking up this way? This is going to be, I have to think about it here. A front post single crochet. This stitch here, because it's going to be sticking out on this side, is my back post double crochet. So front, back, back. And you got to remember, each round we add a stitch for each round that we do on the sides on each end, because we do our 3 stitches in the end here. So when I was talking before about because whatever stitch I did here, that's the one I'm going to do right up above it, right there. So I have this stitch here and this stitch here. This is the one I'm at right here. So I'm not going to worry about this one, but this one here, I have to figure out, well, if I need to do this one here as a front, I probably need to do this one as a back post. So then this will line up this way, and this, and so on. And you could do it where they're opposite and they don't align, but I found that just for visual appeal, I like this one. So I'm going to do my chain 3. Okay. So again, this one here, I think was a front post. So I'm going to do, I think that's what it was. And I'm going to do a single crochet. I have to think about what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to go behind, go over this post here and behind the next one. So this is the back post, single crochet. We'll see if I chose right. And if not, you know what, you take it out and you do it the other stitch. Yes, and then here's this one here is my front post. And then this one here, we'll go back post, and I'll show you what this looks like in just a minute. But we're gonna, I got a schmutz on there. We're gonna continue to do this all along until we get to the corner. And of course, then you're just gonna work 3 single crochet in each corner. And there's going to be always a stitch or two just before you get to the corner where you don't have a front post or back post underneath. That's okay. You're just going to continue on with your alternating stitches. It doesn't, I didn't have this where you have to have a specific stitch in one place or the other. I just think it makes it easy, and you still have a beautiful result at the end. So I'm just going to keep working this over. And we'll get to the end, but this is all you do all the way around in this round here. And then our very last round is just our double crochet in each stitch. So right here there was nothing below it, or I should say right here there's nothing below it. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep my alternating one, and then my single crochet right here. Make sure I got the right stitch here. Nope, right single crochet goes there. See, I almost did it here, but I would have missed this stitch right here. So 1, 2, I was too busy talking. Okay, now we got to figure it out again. So this one goes here, and this is a front of the post, and this would be a back post. So let's try a front and a back. See if I ended up right. Oh, I think I did. I think I did. Yay. Okay. As I was doing the blanket, some of the corners I had to take out because I didn't quite plan it right. Okay, so let me take this out. See, so what that does is the reason that I tried to align with the same stitch is it gives that longer look. I found when I went in between, it was a little bit more bulky look, and it depends on what visual appeal you're going for. And then this is the back side of it. So we're going to continue working this all the way around, and then we'll end with our slip stitch. And then our end round, like I said, is a double crochet round, and I thought that really added just enough nice texture and just a nice finishing little border on top of the border. So I'll finish this round, meet you here, and then I'll double check, make sure that you know how to do the double crochet for the last round, and then show you how that looks too. Okay, we have round 4 all done. All of our front post, back post, single crochets are done. And now the very last round that I did was a round 5, and it was just a double crochet round. So we have chain 3, and then at every stitch around, we're going to work our double crochet and then our 3 double crochet in each corner. So I gotta just double check where I am here, which stitch I ended up here in here. 1, 2, 3, here's the one, so here's my first stitch. Sometimes you just have to really get yourself acclimated to figure out where to start. Otherwise you have to rip out a whole round just because you didn't start in the right stitch, because then you'll have a big gaping hole where you started because you didn't quite start in the right stitch. And I'm just going to do this side here down to the corner again, where I do my 3 double crochet, and I'll show you how this looks, because I just think it gives it a really nice finish with the nice texture on the edges here. And they're really such simple stitches. The hardest part is that front post and back post single crochet. You just got to take your time working around things and try not to hook things with your hook. But it's only for the rounds. I think if I had to do a whole blanket in that, I don't know if I would like that, to be honest. So we're almost to the edge. Okay, and I'm going to do 3 double crochet in the corner. 2, 3, and then you just continue on around. And then I'm going to show you here. You can see it's all scrunched up. But see, isn't that a nice little, just a nice border to finish things off? And then the stitch in the middle, this would have been the middle of the blanket. That's just the single crochet and double crochet too. So I hope that you really enjoy this pattern. I really love it. And I love the teal look of the color of the yarn that I had done the full blanket in. This is again chartreuse yarn that I'm using. And but thank you for watching. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe.